Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and the craft/dining room. It's time for another color wheel combo for cards. Today we're going to take a look at what is known as a split complementary color combo. I love how this turned out. I'm going to walk you through all the steps and we're going to start out with a little bit of color theory, enough to be dangerous. My color wheel combos for cards coming up next. Decided to get my nails into the spirit here for both sides of the color wheel. Well, actually yellow's over here, so, but yeah, warm side, cool side. So the color wheel that I have been using in my videos, and the most recent one, I'll have it linked above. This has two sides to it. So one side shows the tints, and what a tint is, it's any color plus white. So you start with the rich color at one side, and the more white you add, that is how it becomes lighter and lighter. That's what a tint is. The other side of this wheel are the shades, and the shades are the same thing. You start with your core color, but by adding black, you get a deeper tone. That's the only difference between both sides of the wheel, and honestly, you can use either side when you are specking your colors, which is what I plan to do. It's just, I like the lighter, brighter side. The color combo that we're going to work with today is called a split complementary. Now let me talk first about complementary colors. Complementary colors are colors that sit exactly across from one another. Did I do that right? On the wheel. Complementary colors, for example, like yellow and blue. Things that are directly across from one another are complementary colors. Now those colors have nothing in common, so they create really high contrast, which is great if you're looking for really high contrast. Or you can try a different type of complementary combo, which is what I want to do today, and it is called split complementary. So a split complementary on the wheel, you pick your color, and I'm going with a green today because I'm doing something with a lot of foliage, right? So I knew I've got to have green in here, but what is the split complement? So instead of going straight across to the red violet, you go to violet or you go to red violet. So those are the three colors that I'm going to be using. Let's grab the inks that I picked. So here I've got my green. This is Jellybean from Simon Says Stamp. I've got my red violet, which is Magnolia, which is actually close. I think when it's stamped, it's a little closer into this color, but it was the closest color I had to make this work. So again, you have to work with the inks that you have, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. You are looking for the general gist of it. And then I'll be using Velvet Orchid. Now I'll show you what it looks like here on my little chart. I went ahead and stamped this, and please forgive the screwed up. Whenever I have to write with my handwriting, I get a little panicky. But you see the green, yellow, and instead of going straight across, we are splitting on the wheel and we get our violet, red, and our violet. So these colors will work together. And again, this is not a palette that I would reach for normally. Normally what I do, if I'm doing foliage, I think pink, orange, and yellow, because those colors, right, those kind of follow one another on the wheel. And we are going to be getting into that in a future video in terms of the more harmonious combinations. But this split complementary will give you something dynamic and something unexpected. So let's get started with our project. I'm going to use my MISTI today for my stenciling. I just did this in a video because I didn't even know people did it. I learned it from my friend Simon Hurley, but I know that people told me Jennifer McGuire's been doing this forever. So I'm like, these people, they are geniuses. And if I never stencil another way again, I will be a happy person. What I'm going to be doing is putting this large piece of paper. Now this is 6 to, what size is this? Oh, about 7 3/4. I'm making a large panel so that I can cut this down. And what I'm going to do is just push this into the corner, and then I'm going to push my stencil into the corner. And even though I'm not going to do the whole thing necessarily, I'm going to bring in magnet number 1. I'm going to bring in magnet number 2. And the nice thing about having this all in the corner is I can easily check what I'm doing, right? If something isn't working, I can come back and check it, and I love that. I am not sure yet here what one I'm going to start with. I think I'll start with my blooms. Yeah. Now I've got my little Pawsitively everything tool because I don't know if you know this. These were, well, they might be sold out now. Don't quote me, but this is a really fun little tool, and they just came back in stock. And you can, like, well, will it stay there? Yeah, you can put your pads on it, and it moves, so that's a nice thing. All right, I'm going to open up Magnolia here, and I am going to grab a brush. And just real quick, I've been playing a little with these colors, so I'm just going to wipe this. Why does that look so purple? Oh, all right. Wiping it down. We are going to do some ink blending, but I also want to get some paper or tape to do some masking. Got a little Post-it tape, and I know that's a little bloom, so I'll probably do a little of that. But I think what I'll do here is I'm just going to lightly mask off some greenery, because I really do want to try to isolate this big, beautiful stencil. I think I can. And all of this tape, of course, can be used again and again. And that's what we're going to do. So this might seem like a little, a little much for the setup, but trust me, the payoff, well, I don't know if the payoff will be that good, but we can only hope. So let's begin. I'm just going to ink up my brush here. And this again, we're starting with the Magnolia. I'm going to tap a bit of it off because I want to go soft here, and I'll show you what I'm planning. But we're just going to take this first bloom, and if I get that little dot, that's fine too. Just want to come in and add my color. All right, just a little here. Make it light. That little dot too is fine. As we lay down our first color. Now, I did think it would be kind of cool to add some darker depth areas. So I have this cute little set, these little finger guys here. And I think I'm going to pull open, probably this one that I've used for purple before. The cool thing about this little pull apart set is they're brushes. They're not foams. So you get the same sort of cool blended effect, and it has this little storage tube. So I'm not even sure I'm going to put my whole finger in it, but I'm going to ink this up. Tap off, and just maybe make it a little darker in the middle. Just a little. Not much. Like that. Okay. And I will be using these throughout. So flower number 1 is in place. Now, let's move on to the next color. I'm taping off this next flower, but I'm also just going to wipe a little off the stencil. Just a little. I just don't want to contaminate. I guess it's not a big deal if you do contaminate. You know what I mean? It's probably going to be fine, but I'm going to go ahead and tape that off and stick a little tape here. You might go through a lot of tape doing this. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Sometimes you got to go all in for isolating. And again, I can keep using this tape. So what I'm going to do now is take my Velvet Orchid, tap a little off, and we're just going to bring this color into this guy. And I really am going with a fairly light hand because I want this to be soft, not too in your face. So this guy is going to get that little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and do this little guy up here too. Again, I will be trimming this panel down. I don't exactly know yet. This is why I love having the freedom to just make a big pattern and then trim it down. But again, these are not colors that I just wouldn't normally, pick this. Now, if I wanted to be, I could take my purple guy. I guess it's not really such a small area that you have to be super detailed. I just thought, a little bit in the center, a little more control. Maybe a little bit up here. I don't know. And that's the process. So I'm going to keep working my way down, and I will spare you watching all the taping. Let's move on to that guy. Now I'll load up this brush, tap, tap, because you can see how dark it is, right? It's really dark. So don't be afraid to tap a lot off if you are going for sort of a softer look, which I mean, not too soft, right? But soft enough. So I'm just going to blend over the biggest flower. I think this is the biggest one. Yeah. Not pretty. Ah, lovin' stencils. Oh, it's the year of the stencil, 2021. I hope that the year of the stencil doesn't end, though, at the end of 2021, because I really enjoy stencils, and that is not, if you had told me a decade ago that I would be saying that, I might have said, well, that's nice, Kath. Okay. Blending. Oh, so good, right? Okay, moving on to the next color. I'm bringing in this color, bringing it over here. And of course, you don't have to be as picky with masking it off, but I've seen a lot of cards made with this stencil. And if you ever want some inspiration, you can always go to the Simon Says Stamp product page, and Simon will always share some really beautiful card samples created by all the people that make cards for Simon. And you get a lot of different ideas. I think that's one of my favorite things, is just to see how people interpret products and colors, and it's very exciting to me. So we'll keep moving down on this bloom here. Just bring that in. Lovely. I don't know if I need anything darker in there. That looks pretty good. All right. A little bit like that, and then the last. You know, I'm trying to decide though. I don't know if I need the last bloom. Well, but you know what you know what they say. I know I don't need that because I'm going to be trimming it. So maybe I will just again go like that, and get my magnet up here and just mask this off. We'll just do this guy real quick. All right, let's just go over here like that. Why not? I have one more little flower here to do, and I think because this is so big, I am going to, let's pick these up here. Oh, I've got a rainbow on my hand again. I have a prism in the craft/dining room, and I want that to be color too. And when the sun hits just right in the prism, it throws rainbows on my workspace. Someday I may have blinds in here, and when that day comes, yeah, we're going to go with the blue. I will not have the rainbows show up as often, but I think it's a fun little sign that I'm doing something colorfully right. Rainbow! All right, let's get that there like that. Okay, now we have all of the florals, right, that I need to have done. Let's see. I can tick this off and just take a quick look. So I got a little bit of pink. Well, the pink color, the magnolia there, totally okay, but I really did isolate. In fact, I could, well, I try it here. Let's see. I could take a little mono sand eraser and try to get that up. I don't know if it'll work. Will it work? Well, commit too much. That's a little lighter. See that? Mono sand eraser, kind of amazing. All right, we'll just... But you can see how dye ink does drop down into the paper. And I think once I have my green on, you'll never even notice that. I'm just going to wipe some of this off, because now that I'm going to go in and bring green, I really don't want to transfer. And I'll, of course, give this a great clean when the time comes. But for right now, this is going to be plenty good enough. But here's a little thing. If you use a stamp chamois, like I do, this is from Lawn Fawn, and you wipe it, even though you think, oh, it's just damp. No, it actually transfers more dampness than you think. So make sure, oops, make sure that your stencil is completely dry before you lay it back down on your piece, or you will transfer water, and then you will be really bummed, like I have done on many projects. But I think that's going to be enough. Before I get into the green, there's a little dot here, and I want that to be pink. So I'm just going to use my little guy here. And then, let's see here, I'll pick you up. Sometimes I just use my tweezers for this because it's easier to get this thing started. I'm also using clean masking. You know, again, if I'm putting this much work into a card, why not? You know, I'm not saying this is something you're going to mass produce, my friends. This is just, we're just talking color. So I'm going to get my green brush, get my jelly bean, load this up. Now this is a gorgeous green. And it is more, well, I don't know if it, oh look, you can see a little tiny rainbow right there. It's got yellow undertones, you know, so, oh, but there's a little guy there. You know what? I didn't see that. Let's see if I can just do that without masking. Can I do that? I think I can. Well, you know what? When in Rome, that's a little dark. Live and learn. You never know what's going to happen. Okay. Take you off and take you, well, I got to cut a little piece there. Yes, look at that. That is masking surgery. Okay, now we're ready to add the greens. Did I shift my stencil a little? I think I did. That's fine. That's fine because we're adding our greenery. We're going in. I think if you do the hard work up front, right? And here I can go a little darker at the bases of this, right? And let that kind of fade up a little. Isn't that pretty? Like that. Oh, I could do that. Here, we're going to come up here like that. Get a little dark. Darker there, and then fade. I think this is really pretty. Come in here like that. Again, a little darker in there, a little darker, a little darker. A little bit of whispering here, you know. It does make me feel like Bob Ross. I love watching Bob Ross. He's a magician. Okay, how's that? You know, just to get a little shift in color. So we get some of that yellow undertone. That's a lot of masking. How about here? Right like that. Is that going to work? I think it will. Just like that, because I don't want to mask off too much. But let's get you here like that. All right. Oh, do I want to have a little green just to get a little corners in there like that? A little bit there, a little bit there, a little darker. Same here, a little darker there. Oh, so fun. Now let's get masked off for the rest of it. Another little dot here, and I'm going to just do that one as pink too. Like that. Just add a little in there. Before I get too far down here, I'm just going to hold that in place and mask that little guy off. Like that. Okay, great. I don't know how much of the crop I'm going to use, and you'll see that in a minute. But now, oh, I need to cover him up too. So many little pieces. Load up the brushes and blend. And the thing is like, is it worth all the time doing this? Well, I mean, if you're crafting on a weekend, right? Let's say you're crafting on a weekend. Don't you love just the chill out time of seeing what happens, like what emerges from what you create? I personally find this to be incredibly relaxing. I don't even mind all the prep, you know, for the taping, because it's fun, right? Anyone? Let me know in the comments. Do you think crafting's fun? I do. Come over here. And again, I'm just trying to do a little darker at some of the base of the leaves. Oh, that went way dark. And then just kind of press it and fade it. If you're new to ink blending or using stencils, you kind of get a feel for it over time. I have gotten so much better with understanding the control and, you know, how much pressure to put on. And sometimes I still make, you know, big glaring mistakes, but by and large, I think we're good. Did we just get it all done? All right, friends, let's pick up all of the pieces and look at our split complementary color scheme. Are we ready to see? Ah, isn't that pretty? Look at that combination. Don't even look at my nails. I'll try to only show colors that appear, well, I can't really hold it. I'll tuck my thumbs under because I think that's distracting. But that is my combination. Isn't that nice? Again, not colors I would have thought of, right? I mean, the green obviously would have, but I don't think I would have picked these two. And of course, they have this wonderful split complement with the green. So let's move on to creating the actual card project. I had an idea for my greeting. This is a die that came out a few releases ago, but I thought this would be wonderful for the person I'm thinking of sending. And it basically says, the world needs more people like you. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use the shadow layer, but I'm going to cut this apart. Let's see, how do I do this? With my little beadalons, my little bead or wire cutters by Beadalon. Okay, and I just throw that out. I'll tell you what usually happens. I cut these little guys off, right? And then inevitably, I think I'm throwing it away, and then somehow I step on one. Anyone done that before? Please let me know in the comments that I'm not the only one. But how many can I get out of this? This is just a scrap of Neenah Solar White Classic Crest. Yeah, that's the 110 pound. I'm going to cut out a few of these so that I can glue them together for my greeting. Don't know if I'm using a shadow layer or not, but we'll figure that out in a second. I'm just using my Spellbinders Platinum 6. Sometimes when I'm cutting off camera, well, most of the time, I use my Gemini Junior, which is a fantastic machine that's kind to my wrists. But for this, everything came out. Yep. We'll just go ahead and we'll see if I got a good cut here. Sometimes I don't feel like I give it enough pressure. There's a lot of pieces in here, but it's such a lovely handwritten greeting. Let's have a little piece of craft foam, and I'll just poke out the centers with the craft foam. In fact, let's get this out of the way. You know, I may do a comparison here. I'll do this one in the Spellbinders, and I'll run the next two through the Gemini off camera, and I will let you know what gave me a cleaner cut. The world needs more people like you. Now, here's what I'm not sure, because I haven't done this yet. You know, that might be too light. I might have to pick one of the colors. Okay, I'm thinking I might need to pick a green. I'm going to go ahead and cut out another one of these, and I will give you the verdict on which one cut cleaner. So the one on the left is the Gemini, and the one on the right is the Spellbinders. I think there's a few more die hairs. Do you know what I mean? Like the little tiny pieces of paper that show up. But yeah, I mean, the Gemini Junior is a boss, but I think these are good. So I need to grab a swatch ring because we need to pick a color for our shadow layer, which is also currently holding our tittles. So let me grab some swatch rings and we'll pick our background. So I have cardstock swatch rings here, and I do mine by manufacturer. I have a lot of cardstock. I order lots of cardstock because I work in the craft industry, and there you go. And I think having this greeting on that could be really pretty. I think the key lime, okay, green apple, I think key lime is going to be closer. And this is Gina K. These are my Simon cardstocks, although there is the option of vellum. I have a piece of vellum here. What would happen if I laid it on vellum? Oh my, okay. See, the vellum might actually give me just the, well, that's making you dizzy. I'm going to glue two of them together, but do you see how the vellum kind of creates separation without taking anything away? I'm going to cut a vellum shadow layer, and I think we're going to proceed in that capacity. Honestly, I think that is going to give this card the right amount of separation while still being subtle. I am a fan of this subtle greeting, right? I'm a fan of more texture. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my spray adhesive. I'm going to spray this guy, or one of these guys, off camera so I can stack them together, and then I will glue all of this onto the vellum base. Before I spray though, this is a tip I shared in a video. If you have a die cut that has little hairs, you can take low tack tape, like this is the Easy C tape, and just run over it to get some of those little hairs off. And if you don't think there's hairs there, check it out. That's insane. But yes, I do this sometimes off camera and I forget to show it because that is a cleaner die cut to glue. I need to look right over the top. A little shaky, a little shaky. I think if I get one side in like that, then we're good, right? Because it's a little bit of a delicate die. Come up a little here, like that. Oh, I think I did good. I think I did good. Let's take a piece of clean cardstock and just give it a little burnish. Let's give it a little burnish down. I'm almost afraid to do the second layer because look at that. I did so good on that one, but I think that's going to be working. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue these together, and then we'll figure out the trim for our card panel. Just so you don't think I forgot the tittle, I'm going to use a little quickie glue here, get it started, put a little dollop there, knowing it will dry clear, pick up this tiny little guy, and well, I think I can place it there. Let's see. Gonna stay? Well, it might not stay. Let's move it over. This is fine surgery, almost like, look at that. I've been watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy lately. Don't ask me why I decided to start from the beginning. And I watched that show in the early 2000s. I've been around. And I feel like a surgeon every time I do stuff like this. So I'm going to stack. Let's see, get it going again. All right, stack, stack, stack. You can do this with Connect glue too. I'm just dabbing it on, picking it up, popping it down. All hail the tittle. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. So now comes the fun part where we trim this panel down, because this is too big. And this is what I love. I love having the ability to just kind of come in and take the crop that you want for your card project, right? Because I know my greeting is going to be popped in here. I might, well, you know what? I think I actually want more of this because it's so pretty. So I'm going to take the next size up. The A2 layers dies are probably my most used die set. Like I cannot recommend this die set more highly. It's just, I don't hand trim anything now for panels. I only come in and do this. And I think, you know, having a little greenery, having a little white space here off to the side, I think this is really pretty. And again, it's simple, right? But look at that. You still get the purples and the, And I know there might be people who say, but Cathy, you should make a bigger card, right? You're wasting this. No, it's okay. I mean, look I spent all that time masking those off. I'm not even using them. But sometimes you just, you know, you gotta go with what you know. I'm gonna tape that down and I'm gonna run that through my die cut machine off camera. I had a US A2 card base already just sitting here on the table, so forgive me for not showing the folding and scoring process, but it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 tall. And I need to get my little, well, I can't find my pen blades. Just got some, oh, look at the rainbow on my hand. Again, this is a whole new, it's a whole new thing having these beautiful little shimmery things. So again, this is a sign to me that I should be working more with color and exploring the color wheel. I am going to stand up, look, and you know what? I'm gonna offset it a little. Sometimes when I see those outlines, they actually throw me off when I'm placing something so close to the edge here. I look at the top, side to side, and press. Isn't that nice? Now, what I can't decide is, should I be trying to pop this up a little? Because I could put some really thin foam squares. Let me grab some. Because I've already spent so much time on this, I feel like why not just go all in on it, right? And I'm going to cut little tiny strips like this. And what I usually do is I take my craft pick and I pick them up with the craft pick so that I can have a smooth placement. See that right there? Oh, let's get in closer. So it doesn't really show through and you can kind of fudge it over a little like that. But I'm going to go ahead and do that in key strategic places, and then I'll be right back to pop this up. So I've only placed a few. Can you see them? I don't need to go all in because it's going to be very subtle. And let's just place that right in the center. Like that. Oh, so it has just a little lift. Can you see that? So now you get a little more shadow. Well, we've already gone this far, so you know what's next. YouTube friends, I am so sorry. I completely thought I was recording and I wasn't recording. So I already added the sequins, so I'm just going to point out where they are for those of you who have been waiting for this until the end. So here we have our cascade. Boop, 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 boop. Actually, that one was a boop because it tucked under. Boop, boop. I'm a highly trained professional, and yet sometimes I forget to hit record. So that is the finished card project with just a little shine. I even broke a nail in between when I stopped filming, so don't look at that hideous thing. But that is the finished card project. And of course, to remember, we started here with this wonderful split complementary scheme. So I challenge you to take a look at, if you have a color wheel, or even, you know, you can find these online where you can literally just look at them and pick a split complementary scheme and then go ahead and give it a try. If you use anything that you've discovered in one of these color combo videos, go ahead and tag me on social media. And if you use the hashtag that I list here somewhere, because I can't remember what it is, then I can see what you create with this particular color combo for cards. Thanks so much for watching. You can find all supplies linked below, and I'll see you back here soon with another installment in this series. Thanks so much for watching today. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And if you do subscribe, be sure to hit the gray bell below the video so that you don't miss the next time I post. Here are a couple other videos that you might be interested in watching. Thanks so much and have a great day.